Do you know what is the best way to spend your holiday? It is International Summer School, which is organized by Faculty of Forestry at Warsaw University of Life Sciences.
The objective of the summer school is to train and introduce the technique or the science of dendrochronology and its applications such as dendroclimatology to colleagues, to scientists, to stakeholders from different countries. Some region, they don't know anything about dendroclimatology or dendrochronology. So we try to outreach to these scientists in order, because this application is very important. Like, you hear about drought, people talk about drought, how they can handle a drought. So they use instrumental data, actual meteorological data, and this could be short. It could be 50 years old, sometimes 40 years old. So if the water resource and natural resource manager will depend on this 40 years to make a plan for several years, they might be biased. Why? Because this coming 5 year or this present from 5 years till now is the driest period, or it could be the wettest period. So by using tree ring, they can be 200 years up to 1,000, 2,000 years. So you can make a relationship between the instrumental data like precipitation and temperature. It depends on the region. Some high elevation, like over 3,000-4,000 meters, 2,000 meters, might be the temperature influence the tree growth. On the lower elevation or like mid-latitude, in the 300-400 up to 1,000 meters, it could be precipitation is the factor. Okay, so if you can make a good correlation between the annual rain, the tree ring data, after you date the wood, you measure it, and if you can make a relationship between precipitation, for example, and the tree ring data, if you find a good correlation, then you can extrapolate back in time. So instead of having information about the climate for 40 years, you might have it for 200 years, 300 or 1,000 years. In this case, you can look at the climate variability, drought, wet event, what's in the past and what about now. So this is the main idea. Then there are other applications. You can use it with the tree ring, such as if somebody interested in fire history, like an area where many fires happened every year, every 3-4 years. You can look, the trees will help you to do that by looking at the scars on the trees. Or you can use it for archaeological side, like in the southwest of the United States. The history of the prehistory of the Indian villages, they didn't have any idea about it. But by using tree ring, they go into these buildings and take from the beams some samples, and they build the chronology from living trees, then they can connect the age of these buildings, when did they build it, okay? Also from charcoal, in these areas also you can take it and determine, okay, this village or this civilization ended in this period of time. And so this is one nice story is the Aztec Indian. I mean, their civilization ended in late after in the 1400s because of the climate change. So that caused them to move to another region. So many, even now they are using it for cancer studies. Also, like looking at like some area is polluted and cause cancer like in the United States. In Nevada, there was an area where they built a factory there, I think cement factory. After a few years, they have the highest rate of children leukemia. So they wanted to figure out why, the medical doctor. So they came, asked one of our colleagues at the lab. They took samples close to the factory, samples a little bit far away and far. And they looked at the chemical that related to the cancer, like the tungsten and copper increase. If they increase, they were increasing during from the beginning of the factory, so there was a relationship. Now it's very open science. So our objective for teaching this class around the world, like every year we teach it in different countries. We started in Turkey, Jordan, Turkey, Greece, Spain, Siberia, here. I mean, we were trying to organize this course since 2013 when Robert and Wojciech and the other three Polish colleagues came to the class, and they were, oh, we should do it. Then it took us 6 years to make the class possible here. And as you see, people from different regions, like you see people from India, Pakistan, Lebanon, Tunisia. So these kind of scientists, they interact with each other, and then to build the future plan. They can work together, collaborate together. So this is one of our objectives, and we are doing it actually free. In the summer, we are not paid. We are coming here, helping in every country. We help our colleagues to start this science, to build a foundation, a good base to be in each country available for them and for their people and for their stakeholders and their scientists to learn. A new generation of scientists will start looking at this aspect that is very simple aspects, taking the course, but a lot of information here. The trees is a natural archive, you know, like a historian, but this historian never lied. Maybe a historian might write something biased, but the trees will never be biased to you. So it will give you enough information. And after the end of the course, they will have the general concept how to start working on this subject.
Alexander Stewart. I'm a professor in the United States. I'm a glacial geomorphologist, and I use tree rings to solve problems about geological problems like mass wasting or landslides. So I decided to come to the field course here to learn more about how I can use tree rings to understand climate. Oh, this is going very well. It's very informative, and the key is it starts at the very basic, assuming you know nothing, and then by the time we're done after 2 weeks, we will have completed an entire project from start to finish, including a presentation. So every single step, from collecting samples, preparing samples, analyzing them, and dealing with the data, we do all of it. So it's going to be very good.
My name is Vishnu Paudel. I work as a researcher in Linnaeus University in Sweden. My department works in different areas, and tree analysis, wood analysis, one of the important part in there. And I work in the climate change and forestry research. I wanted to connect tree ring research with climate change and forestry. Therefore, I'm here in this course This is very first experience of me, and I like it very much. I'm enjoying.
I am basically from Pakistan. My name is Muhammad Fawad Sharif, and I am doing my second master from Sweden. I am basically the student of the master from SLU, and I was working in the State Forest Department in the Pakistan for 5 years. So dendrochronology was the interesting subject for me because there was a lot of fires in the Pakistan. So I want to know how these fires affected the past year in the Pakistan. So that's why I came here. I think the course is according to his objectives, and I am learning a lot. I know nothing about the dendrochronology before, but I am getting experience and I am trying to learning the new things.
I am Nagam Tabaja. I am from Lebanon. I am working on my PhD, doctorate studies between Lebanon and Montpellier University in France. My main project, PhD project, is monumental olive trees in Lebanon, drought, pollution, climatic changes, everything in its history. And I'm in a cotetel between France and Lebanon. And this course is very important for my work because it's actually what I do in the lab. I study the tree rings, I study the climatic changes, what happened through the history, isotopic studies. So this course is mainly what will help me have a better outcome for my PhD project. So mainly this is it, and I think it's very helpful up until now with the very practical work and actual activities that we can see on the ground from A to Z.
I'm from California, I'm from San Francisco. And I'm a graduate student there, so I'm studying for my master's degree, and I'm actually studying dendroclimatology, but I'm new at this, so I wanted to learn new things and just see how they do it here in Europe, because it's going to be very different and exciting, and we're learning from all different professors from across the world, so it's really exciting.
Hi, I'm Elio Fioravanti. I come from Italy. I am a PhD student, my first year PhD student in Italy. I study forest science, in particular dendrochronology, and in my PhD I want to build a model of tree growth forecast under different climate change scenario. And dendrochronology is very useful in order to accomplish this aim. And also for this reason I decided to join this summer school, not only for the topics is the same on my PhD, but also because experience like that are very useful in order to exchange ideas, see other point of view from different cultural and cultural background, and in particular making practice is more effective rather than only reading books or articles that are useful but never as the practice. So so far I'm very satisfied of this experience.
My name is Mariam. I'm from Tunisia. I'm an hydraulic engineering, and I have just finished my master degree on sustainable management of water resources. So during my master degree I have developed a tool about precipitation forecasting. So I decided to come here to learn more about the dendroclimatology because I don't know anything about it. So I think it will be a better thing for my career, and it can help me for my PhD. And maybe if I can use it for my forecasting tool of precipitation, I will have a better results.
So I'm from University of South Bohemia, and I'm archaeologist. I'm not forestry biologist, but I'm archaeologist. I use the dendrochronology as tool to date archaeological wood and wooden remains from past structures and buildings, and I'm interested a little bit in climate reconstruction in the past, so I thought it would be great to attend this course. It would be useful for future research in that field. So I think it's great. I learn many new things about the sample preparation and the new ways how to properly do the dendro science, to improve my skills. I think it's very useful for me because many things are new, because I'm not professional in this field.
These results will serve different fields of science, but probably our focus here is mainly on climatology. So this will be the first effort looking at the climate record in several of these tree species. So this is the first look at the Polish trees in this area to see whether they have climate information. So I think the first value of it would be to climatology. But since the trees do record, they're recording the entire environment and everything that affects the tree. So the life of the tree, if it's insect attacks, disturbances of some kind, even high winds that might break off branches, that's ecology. So the results would also be useful to ecologists to understand what affects the forest here. But I think for one particular field, I think climatology, and we emphasize in this course climatology. So we will be analyzing these tree ring data and comparing them to weather records from around the Warsaw region to see what the climate information is in these tree ring data. We've had collaboration in this course since 2013. We first met our colleagues here from the university in Warsaw in 2013 when 5 Polish participants went to our course in Abakan, Siberia, and they were a very cohesive group, the Polish students, and they made the course very lively, and they took a great interest in the tree ring work that we were doing. That's when we first started talking about maybe eventually having this course in Poland, and so we also had a second course in last year in Cherrymushki, which is in Siberia, southern Siberia, and we had a couple of our participants, our sponsors, now our collaborators here, and that's when we furthered this idea of okay, let's try to have the course in Poland, and that's finally it worked out, and they organized it, and so we're very happy to be here.
If you want to have great time and meet people from all over the world, just join us.